Yo, what's going on, guys? Evan Tanaka here, back with another video. In today's video is going to be I Rate and Improve Your Guys' Team series. And in this video, we're going to be rating and improving people's teams that you guys send me on Twitter at EvanTanaka10. So if you guys ever want to be in a future video where I give you guys a rating 1 through 10 of your squad, being a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever it might be, and give you guys improvements and suggestions for players I think you guys should pick up for your team, send it to EvanTanaka10 on Twitter. And when I make the tweet saying I'm looking for teams for my next I Rate and Improve Your Team video, if you want to be in the next video, send your team an empty amount down below, and then you do what these people did and they put their team an empty amount down below. So if you guys want to be in a future video, that's what you guys have to do. Also, if you guys are new here, I would really appreciate if you subscribe down below. I post 2 to 3 my team videos every single day and give you guys some of the best no money spent content, tips and tricks on the platform. Looking at team number 1 here, sent in from, I'm gonna mess it up, is it Misra? I don't know how to say that, I apologize. But he says he has 140k MT, happy to replace anyone. Okay, so he's got a very good starting lineup. I like John Wall, I like Harden, like AK, like John Collins, like George Mikan. Bench, Cliff Hagan, not the biggest fan of, but other than that, pretty solid. I'm gonna give your team a solid 8 out of 10. Can't go much higher than that with 40,000 MT. There is a couple things you could do. For me, I'm not the biggest fan of Cliff Hagan, so I would go Buddy Hield. I think Buddy Hield is way better than Cliff Hagan, and he's only about, like, his Amethyst is only like 8,000 MT, so very easy to pick up him. And then instead of John Collins, I would probably go a guy like Scotty Barnes or a guy like Scottie Pippen over John Collins. I personally like those two guys better, but honestly, for your squad, I would just pick up a better backup shooting guard. And if you want to go Evan Mobley over Wang ZZ, that is another great option as well. But thank you for sending your team on to the next one. Next team here is from Vlado. He says he's got Kawhi 19 Hoff, Braun 22 Hoff. I have all of the 90s, 1000s, 10,000s, and are the only players I am buying because going for the lock-in. I have all of the cards so far. Just tell if I should play them in other positions, and I have 1 million MT in my badges. So I'm assuming you're just wanting for positions. You don't want to pick up a player. So what I see so far is your lineup's really good. The only player in here that's not very good is Ray Allen. Everyone else in here is really, really good. Shaq's decent, but everyone else is top tier. Like Curry, best point guard. Wade, top 3-point guard. Kobe Bryant, top 2-point guard. James Harden, top 3-point guard. You got Kawhi, LeBron, obviously best cards in the game. You got D-Rob, best center in the game. But that Ray Allen does lack a little bit, but I'm still giving you a 9.5 out of 10. Just a couple positions that I would change to make this the best team in the game. Your starting lineup is my starting lineup, your starting lineup basically is the best starting lineup in the game, in my opinion. So that's very good. So I wouldn't really arrange anything. If you want to pick up a player, I would get rid of Ray Allen. To be honest, if you can afford Rudy Gay would be way better than Ray Allen. But you said you don't really want to buy any players because you're going in for the lock-ins. So thank you, Vlado, for sending your team on to the next one. Next team here is from Francisco. He says, hope I'm not too late, have 450k MT, looking to make final push for J-Rich finally in Galaxy Opal tier. Starters badged out and souped a bit. Ja with 12 Hoffs, Clay with 7, Jimmy with 12, Melo with 10, KG with 10, bench badged out 2, Harden with 6, lineup adjustments or players to buy, down to spend 250k MT, Wall badged out as well with 8 Hoffs. Okay, rating out of 10. Looks to be a very solid team. I like John Wall, I like Ja, I like Clay, I like Harden, I like Jimmy. Like there's no player in this lineup that I don't like. But for me, I can only give you an 8 to 8.5 out of 10, just because, I mean, they're very good players, but none of them are like, you don't have, other than Harden and I guess Rudy Gay, you don't really have like a top tier player on your squad. You don't have a LeBron, you don't have a Curry, you don't have a D-Rob, you don't have a Kawhi, you don't have a Kobe, you know what I mean? You don't have that like superstar player, or like, you know, a guy that's like really insane. I mean, you have Clay, you have Harden, you have Rudy Gay, all really, really good, but no outstanding players. So I'm gonna go in between an 8 and an 8.5 for your squad. I mean, you want to spend 250k MT, there is a bunch of stuff you can do. I like how you have Rudy Gay, but what I would do is for backup center, I would definitely try to pick up a D-Rob, and I would start D-Rob over KG and then have KG at your backup center. D-Rob is only like 180k MT for his NBA 75, so I'm assuming you find his flash, which is just as good, for about 150 or less, so you still got about 100k MT left to spend. And honestly, with that, I mean, you could just save it, which is probably what I'm going to recommend you to do, because there's not really any other massive upgrades I would make for your squad other than that backup center position is the only position I'm seeing that's a little bit weak. I mean, John Morant you could upgrade, but there's no real other point guards. I mean, if you like to look at Westbrook is better than John Morant, so you could look to pick up him. But honestly, for your squad, I think I would just save some of your MT, but look to pick up D-Rob for that starting center position and then move KG to backup center. But thank you for sending your team. On to the next one. Next team here is from someone. He said, I got 130k MT, looking to upgrade my power forward and bench shooting guard and my bench point guard. I now have 185k MT. So he's got 185k MT. He needs a power forward, so he wants to get rid of Scotty Barnes, he wants to get rid of Vince Carter, and he wants to get rid of Steve Francis. Okay, so first, let's work with the backup shooting guard, because that's the easiest one to do on this team. Oh, you got Buddy Hield already. Okay, this is a very, let's give you a rating out of 10. This is a very good budget squad. The highest tier I can go, though, is 7.5, because you do have the guys like Vince Carter, who isn't the best. Steve Francis is kind of outdated. Scotty Barnes, I don't know why you want to get rid of him. I'm not going to tell you to get rid of Scotty Barnes. I love Scotty Barnes. But the only positions I think you need to get rid of is your backup 1 and your backup 2. And those are two very easy fixes. Just get Marcus Smart for your backup point guard. He's much better than Steve Francis. And for your backup 2, you have 185k. I mean, James Harden's 25,000 MT, so I don't see why you can't pick up James Harden for backup shooting guard. I would even play him over Buddy Hield, but James Harden for the backup shooting guard for 30,000 MT. Great pickup. Marcus Smart, probably around like 8 to 10,000 MT. So I only spent about like 40,000 MT, and your team's really, really good now. You could also look to pick up, an AK. I don't know if you're the biggest fan of AK, but AK could be a great option over Mikal Bridges or over Jonathan Isaac. But other than that, I think your team's pretty solid. I would just pick up those two guys, being Marcus Smart and James Harden, for your team. So thank you, someone, for sending your team. On to the next one. Next team here is from HSpicy. He says, sold my team for a market crash this Friday. Want to build an elite squad to grind unlimited next season. No money spent, about 500k on current gen. Okay, there's a lot of positions we need to upgrade. This team's like a 6 out of 10, I'm not even gonna lie. A lot of positions we need to upgrade, and honestly, the only players we're gonna keep in this lineup is probably Allen Iverson, Jonathan Isaac, Damian Lillard, and Wang ZZ. That's probably the only two people we are gonna pick. So for two shooting guards here, what you're gonna do, just follow along. You're gonna go James Harden, you're gonna go Buddy Hield. That's two shooting guards knocked out. Two small forwards, you're gonna go Scotty Barnes, you're gonna go Scottie Pippen. That's two of them knocked out. You're going to go for starting power forwards. You're going to pick up Dolph Shays. He's about 40,000 MT. You're going to move Jonathan Isaac to the backup 4 for Al Horford. And then for centers, you're going to keep Wang Z potentially. But for starting center, you're going to go with D-Rob. And for backup center, you're going to go Evan Mobley. That's a very good looking team. So your starting lineup would be AI, James Harden, Scottie Pippen, Dolph Shays, and D-Rob. Your bench would be Damian Lillard, Buddy Hield, Scotty Barnes this time, then you would go Jonathan Isaac, and then you would go Evan Mobley. I think that's a great team. That probably is like an 8.5 out of 10 squad. But thank you, HSpicy, for sending in your team. On to the next one. Next team here is from Roger, and he says he's got about 250k MT once I sell Zion and Nash post XP challenges. Okay, so work with 250k MT. This squad, I mean, you just picked up Worthy, so I have no idea how that card really plays. I'm not the biggest fan of Nate Thurman, not the biggest fan of Moses Malone, not the biggest fan of Clyde Drexler. Pete Maravich is super outdated. This team's a solid 7, maybe 7.5 out of 10. You definitely got some good players, but the first positions I would get rid of is at center positions. Pick up D-Rob, pick up Evan Mobley, pick up George Mikan, pick up Jaren Jackson Jr., pick up two of those 4 guys for your 2 centers. All those 4 centers I named are better than the 2 centers you have right now. James Worthy and Dolph Shays are fine to have. Larry Bird, Melo are fine to have. Instead of Clyde Drexler, I would go Buddy Hield. I think Buddy Hield is a better shooting guard than Clyde Drexler. And then for backup point guard, I would either go Westbrook or John Wall or Marcus Smart, depending on your price range. Those guys are all way better than Pete Maravich. And you could run one of them maybe over John Morant. Like you could go John Wall and Westbrook. They both are better. Or you could go Marcus Smart and a guy like John Wall. Those two guys would be amazing to have for your 2 point guards. So those are the positions I would tell you to upgrade. Thank you, Roger, for sending in your team. On to the next one. Next team here is from Anthony. He says he's got 1 million MT. Okay, so this is a very good looking squad. I'm gonna have to give you a 9 to 9.5 out of 10. Actually, I'm gonna go 9.5. The only positions, like, you got the 2 point guards right, you got the 2 shooting guards right, you got a small forward, LeBron, you got Giannis. The only thing I would do, I mean, you got million MT. Personally, I like Rudy Gay over Kevin Durant. And personally, I would rather run LeBron at the 4 and then pick up a better. So here's what I would do. So if you want to keep Magic as starting point guard, what I would do is I would go Magic Johnson. I would go James Harden, because again, I like James Harden. You can go Clay as well. I would go at the 2, put Kawhi to the 3, LeBron to the 4, and then move Giannis to the backup 4. So your starting lineup would be Magic, Harden, Kawhi, LeBron, and Shaq. I'm not the biggest fan of Shaq, so I would get rid of Shaq. I would put David Robinson into the starting lineup, and then I would pick up, or you could do Shaq off the bench, but I would start D-Rob, and then your bench would be like Curry, Kobe, Rudy Gay, Giannis, and Shaq. You could do something like that. So those are my suggestions to you, Anthony. Thank you for sending your team. On to the next one. Next team here is from Rit. I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. Is there any replies here? Let me see. He's got 85 KMT. Hopefully I'm not too late, but here's my team. Empty slot is Diamond Scotty Barnes. Okay, and he's got 85 KMT. A very good budget squad. It looks to be the highest rating I can kind of give you is an 8 out of 10, but it's probably more like a 7.5, somewhere in that range. With 85,000 MT, what I would do is just upgrade that backup point guard position. Honestly, Marcus Smart is better than Steve Francis. If you want to go and pick a guy up like Westbrook, he is better as well. I like your starting lineup. I wouldn't really change anything other than that. The only thing I would do is I would put Scotty Barnes at the 3, the backup 3, and then I put Scottie Pippen at the backup 4. I think Pippen's a better power forward than Scotty Barnes. That's all you really need to do with your team. Honestly, a very, very good looking squad. So thank you, Rip, for sending your team. On to the next one. Next team here is from Christian. He said, here's my team. I have 130, he has 30k MT and plays current gen. Okay, looking at the squad, looks to be another very decent looking squad. Not the biggest fan of Joe Caldwell, not the biggest fan of Aaron Gordon, but other than that, every card in this lineup is very solid. But I'm going to have to give you a 7.5 out of 10, just because the fact there's 2 cards in here that I do not like that much. Instead of Joe Caldwell, I think James Harden for about 25k MT is much better than Joe Caldwell. And for that 4, I think there's a bunch of different ways you could go. But a cheap option, Jonathan Isaac. I think Jonathan Isaac is better than Aaron Gordon. He's like a Giannis budget. He's a budget Giannis, and I do think he's better than Aaron Gordon. He's about 5,000 MT. Harden's about 25,000 MT, so there's your 30k MT. As well as you can sell Aaron Gordon and you can sell Joe Caldwell to make some of that MT back. So yeah, thank you, Christian, for sending. I gave you a rating, right? Yeah, I did. Thank you for sending your team. I would definitely pick up Harden and definitely pick up Jonathan Isaac. Other than that, your team looks really good. But thank you for sending your team. On to the next one. So he says, hope I'm not too late. 213 KMT and 333 tokens. Also, who should I take for beyond level 40? For beyond level 40, you should definitely take Dan Marley. But then here you said, this is my team right now. Wrong pick. Okay. So now looking at the team, you got, okay, your bench. I don't even know who the hell you're running. You're probably running AI, Danny Green, Mikal Bridges. Okay, I'm just going to reconstruct your bench. We'll keep your starting lineup the same, but honestly, your team's like a 7.5 out of 10. Because, I mean, it's good, but there's a couple players in here I just do not like CJ McCollum, Jokic, Bingo Smith isn't that good. Danny Green's solid, but not too good. So what I would do with, how much MT did you say you had? You have 213k. So what I would do, personally, is Buddy Hield is way better than any of the shooting guards. So for your bench, I would go John Wall, Buddy Hield. You could keep Mikal Bridges, but I would probably go Scotty Barnes. I think he's better than Mikal Bridges. No, wait, this is the team, right? What team is it? It's this team, right? So for your bench, I would go AI, Buddy Hield, Mikal Bridges, Scottie Pippen, and Jaren Jackson Jr. or Evan Mobley, whoever you like best. So then your starting lineup would be the same. Well, actually, wait, who is your power? Bro, this is the most confusing thing ever. Put Jaren Jackson Jr. over Denflin Strip. I'm not the biggest fan of him, so I would run Jaren Jackson Jr. at the starting 4, and then I would have Evan Mobley at the backup center. So your lineup would be John Wall, James Harden, Paul George, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Wang ZZ. And then your bench would be Allen Iverson, Buddy Hield, Mikal Bridges, Scottie Pippen, and Evan Mobley. Thank you, Leon, for sending in your team. On to the next one. Next team here is from Mark, and he says he's got 150k MT, and this is his squad. So let's see. Honestly, another very good budget squad. You guys all have very, very good budget squads. I mean, you got 150k MT, so you got to get rid of Eddie Jones and pick up James Harden. James Harden's only 25k MT. Like I said a bunch of times in this video, James Harden is a great guy to go scoop up. But other than that, honestly, I think James Harden is the really only upgrade. I mean, Rocco, yeah, no, I would get rid of Rocco. I'd pick up either Scottie Pippen, or Scotty Barnes. Way better than Rocco, in my opinion. You could get rid of Jonathan Isaac as well and replace those guys. But other than that, I think that's fine. Like your 2 point guards. I like your 2 power forwards, and I like your 2 centers. I would just get rid of Rocco, pick up Scotty Barnes or Scottie Pippen, and then get rid of Eddie Jones and pick up James Harden. But thank you, Mark, for sending your team. On to the next one. Next team here is from Dash, and he says he's got 50k VC. Do you mean MT or VC? I'm gonna go off MT because I don't know how the hell to spend VC. I'm gonna go MT. I'm gonna go MT. Rating out of 10 though, very decent squad. You got Rudy Gay, Buddy Hield, Penny Hardaway Westbrook. You got no card in here. I'm gonna go 8. I'm gonna go 8 out of 10. A very solid squad. Personally, I would get rid of Embiid, but I would get rid of Embiid for Evan Mobley. I think Evan Mobley's a better center than Joel Embiid. But other than that, I think your team is fine. Your 2 shooting guards are good. Your 2 small forwards are good. Your 2 power forwards are good. You got a very good looking team. The only thing I would do is probably replace Joel Embiid and try to pick up a D-Rob if you can, save up some of your MT. But if not, pick up Evan Mobley. In my opinion, he is better. So thank you, Dash, for sending your team. On to the next one. Next team here is from NBA 2K Burner. He says 190k MT, 450 tokens, looking for a new backup center to move Mobley to the 4. Any suggestions? Appreciated. Current gen also. Okay, so rating out of 10. Not the biggest fan of Steve Francis. Not the biggest fan. I mean, Ed Jones is fine. Calvin Matt. Okay, so your bench is a little bit weak. Your starting lineup's pretty good, though. I'm going to have to give you a 7.5 out of 10. So for me, I'm going to keep your starting lineup the same. I'm just going to work on the bench. So for backup point guard, I would go John Wall or I would go Marcus Smart. For backup shooting guard, I would go James Harden or Buddy Hield. 2 very good options right there. For backup small forward, I would either go Mikal Bridges or Scotty Barnes. I would probably go Scotty Barnes. For the backup 4, you could go really cheap and go Kyle Kuzma. He's really solid. But if you want to go a little bit more expensive, you could pick up a guy like Dolph Schayes. Dolph Schayes is only about 40-50 KMT, and he's super good. But if you want a backup center, I'd probably look to pick up D-Rob. But if you can't afford D-Rob, then I would probably look to pick up George Mikan. I think George Mikan's really good. And then you can move Evan Mobley to that 4 spot. But yeah, that's what I would do for your squad. Thank you, NBA 2K Burner, for sending your team. On to the next one. Okay, guys, I'm pretty sure that's going to be it for the video. We went through and did all of the teams. So if you guys did end up sending your team underneath the tweet, I went through and I rated all of your guys' teams. So I hope you guys did enjoy. Make sure if you want to be in a future video, send it to EvanTanaka10 on Twitter. When I make the tweet, post your team and MT amount down below in the comment section. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Hope it did help a lot of you guys out with your squads. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.